So, welcome again at a normal recording of the Workplace Ninjas Netherlands podcast. And today we're in Almkerk, Hollywood, as it's called. They are having films here, but today we have our 10th year anniversary where we have some speakers from abroad. And because of that, I have Ronni Pedersen on the table, but also from the Workplace Ninjas crew, the Netherlands, Joost.
Welcome.
As always. And also Peter.
Yep.
So what are we going to do today, Peter?
So today we have like 8 breakout sessions, 2 tracks with a lot of speakers like Ronni, but also Mirko Kolenberg and a lot of local MVPs who are going to talk about workplaces.
Yeah, we have another recording later on with Mirko.
Yep.
We will talk about. But Ronni, first time you're not the first time in the Netherlands, but first time you joined in this podcast.
Yes.
What are you doing in your normal day job?
Well, I work as a cloud architect in a Danish company called APENTO, and my day-to-day work is usually about working with customers, implementing, supporting, designing Microsoft solution based or Microsoft management solution based on mostly Intune and surrounding technologies, Windows 365, SCCM, all of that great stuff that makes our lives as device administrators great and fun.
Yeah, everything workplace related.
Exactly.
Yeah. Joost, you're still here. Joined every time.
Yeah.
Did you see the session of Ronni today?
Yeah, been there. Seen about half an hour, I think, because I have to switch both sides because we had another breakout session as well, so I needed to see that one as well. Very nice session. First steps were about Windows Labs, and then something I'm playing around with, so that's good to see. Very good functionality finally into the modern workplace. The next steps were what was happening in the last 6 months in Intune. So really good session, nice interactive with the full crowd. So that was fun.
But before we diving into the session of Ronni that you have delivered, first, what is the reason for you to be part of such a community and to deliver sessions abroad? You're from Denmark. Yeah. What is the reason to be here for you?
To be quite honestly, it's a very selfish thing because this is really what makes me happy, right?
Yeah.
I really love engaging with the audience, and I always highly encourage people to just jump into the conversation. Usually, I try to bring some swag or something to encourage people to speak up, and especially today, people were really good at interacting, asking questions, having comments on all the new stuff that we were talking about. So that's really nice. And all the feedback that I get from, of course, it's always nice to see someone, when you talk to people and you can see in their eyes that now they really understand the technology and they see the value of it. When you see that moment, that's just priceless. But also the feedback that we get from the audience and the user group members about, what they would like to see improved is something that we can go back and take to the product group and say, hey, this is the feedback we get from the product groups. So everything that can make the products that I care and love and have passion about even better, the more information I can get is really, really, really why I'm doing this. It's just because it really makes me happy. Yeah.
Within the session, the specific 2 topics. I heard Joost told.
Oh, we have quite a lot more than that. It was, the topic was what's new in the enterprise client management space. So we went from what happened with SCCM the last 6 months. We talked about what happened in Intune. We were talking about the Intune suite. We were going into Windows Labs, which got a lot of attention actually from the audience. And we digged into some of the suite functionality, especially around the endpoint privilege management suite. that was endpoint management, EPM, endpoint management, endpoint privilege management. It's all of these acronyms, yes.
Yeah, it's difficult.
Which is basically the technology that allows end users to evaluate software. And that was something that they were really interested in. But also some of the new stuff that are coming later this year, the cloud PKI, and also the advanced application management feature. I actually had a ton of stuff on my agenda that we didn't reach to because they were so engaged. But I think that's a good thing. So yeah.
Yeah, because the session was running out of time.
And it happens.
But if that happens, then probably the content is so good that people want to interact and so on. Because up front, your session is fit into the minutes that you have. But if there is interaction, then it can be extended as well. But looking into Windows Labs, what is that? Why should I use that?
Well, Windows Labs is basically, Labs is short for local administrative password solution, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it's solution. It's been around for a long time in the on-prem world. With different names and different technologies, and latest it's been integrated into also to SCCM. But usually this is something that usually customers that on-prem environment has leveraged.
Yeah.
But now Microsoft has released a service, or a policy set that is supported on all supported version of Windows that allows them to escrow the local administrative password to either the on-prem AD, but also to the Azure Active Directory, which means that all the customers that are going through the transformation to a cloud-only world, they now have the opportunity to also have a way to automatically rotate, have unique passwords to protect against several vulnerabilities, password attacks, etc. And also something that you can integrate with the Intune console and also with the AAD. And the best thing is it's actually completely free. All it requires is an Azure AD basic license, which is free.
Yeah.
So if you have a Windows version and your device is in AAD, you have access to this functionality. Of course, you need an Intune license if you want to use Intune license to set the policies, but you can basically set the policy using any script or whatever tool that you want to. So this is an easy way to get started for every customer.
Yeah. Did you already use that, Peter?
I have played with it, but to be honest, I don't have a lot of customers anymore that have local admin accounts being active.
If you're using Autopilot and running out a modern managed system, then the local admin isn't there.
No, it's there. It's disabled by default. So
it is disabled. And if we look back at what is the use case scenario of when do you actually need the local administrative password, and the local administrative password is usually something that you need when something went wrong.
Yep.
So let's say you have a device. It's still working, it's still functional, but there's some data on it. You can't just reset it, but you have lost access to the network and you can't sign in for some reason.
Yeah.
Then you can go in and offline have access to the local administrator password, get it from the database, log in, fix the issue, and then the user can be working again. Yeah. Another scenario could be a help desk scenario where you have this supporter connecting to a remote desktop, helping the end user that might want to do something that requires elevation.
Yeah.
And then instead of using the help desk or giving a password out that is the same on all devices, then the supporter can go in, pull out that password, use that in the run as command, and then execute it. And the good thing with this Windows Lab is once you have pulled the password out of the system, it will automatically trigger a recycle of that password. So within whatever amount of hours that you specifies, this password will be set to something else.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's also a great scenario. But there are in some cases when the CEO's laptop is busy or is breaking down. It's not necessarily the fun thing to be an IT guy saying to the CEO, I know you saved all your documents on your desktop, but that's your own problem. You should save that in OneDrive. So sometimes it's really nice to have that backdoor in there. But the thing is, it's not a completely bulletproof solution. If you delete the object in AAD, the computer object, the password goes away with that, and there's no way to recover it.
Okay.
So yeah. But it's a good thing, and it's something that makes a lot of IT admins maybe sleep a little bit better. Hopefully, it's not something that they will use a lot. Maybe never. But just having the option there is something that will make them sleep better. And especially from customers moving from a pure on-premise environment. They had this for 10 years.
Yeah.
And instead of focusing on all the great things that they get from moving to the cloud, they focus on all the stuff that they don't have.
If you have a hybrid environment, it can probably help a lot.
Yeah.
But when moving to fully mother managed, but also from a perspective that you that the sysadmin can sleep better, for example.
Exactly. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, definitely. that mostly are our sponsors that we need to help them to move forward.
Yeah.
Are there any other things that you keep in mind if it comes to Intune What's New? Are there any other things? Is Windows Labs, for example, is it the most important thing for you that is delivered in the past few months?
No, it's not the most important thing. It's like Ronni says, it's a nice new feature which can be embraced cloud only, but it can also take over management of the on-premises passwords. So it's also for hybrid. But
To me personally, well, first of all, Windows Labs is really not part of the Intune thing. It's just you can manage it with Intune, but it's really not part of the Intune.
It's a Windows feature.
Yeah, it's a Windows feature. It's part of the product group. But I would say personally, to me, the new things that are coming out with the Intune suite is probably the most important thing for me. We see a lot of hype around the endpoint privilege management thing.
EPM,
EPM, because many customers has third-party solutions for that today. Many of them have looked at the remote help and the advanced endpoint analytics and everything else that's in the suite for now.
Yeah.
And the feedback that we get is the pricing right now for $10 for what's in the suite as we speak might be a little bit higher for a lot of customers. And I totally agree and follow on that. But when I look at the things that are coming later this year, the cloud certificates, infrastructure, and also the management of third-party applications, which we don't know exactly how the look and feel would be on that yet. But especially the interest that we see in the EPM area is really high because a ton of customers is still allowing the end users to be local administrators because they don't have a good solution for users, developers that needs to run certain things as a local administrator. And with EPM, we are taking a huge step in that direction. So I see a lot of interest in that area.
Yeah, and particularly in that area, also from the Windows team is coming a lot of stuff. I was last March. I was in Israel at Blue Hat. Dave Weston, the security vice president for Windows, he announced Rust kernel for Windows, but also adminless. That is the way forward within the Windows team. And if you can connect that with the Intune team, then probably a local user doesn't have to be the local admin anymore. So I think there are multiple ways that heading into the correct direction, and everything is helping that way. So that's good to know. Are there any other topics for you what were yours triggered, Joost, in the session of Ronni?
Yeah, just the engagement of the people. That was the most nice thing I saw, and that is something I like because then you get an interactive sessions and everything around it. And how you're doing, good feel, good vibe, and everything around it. So the subjects are, good, but not. You want to have your interaction with your people.
Yeah.
So Windows Labs is for me it's an important one because that helps our customers for local IT. For if there is going to be an installation of a strange product that's not a package or something else, so they can install it and they don't need any higher access than that local admin account for that device. So loving that. And what Ronnie already said was Cloud PKI.
Yeah.
What's coming is going to be a big one. That's
Definitely. Yeah, still.
No
Yeah,
more
I'm really
and
curious how they will
Yeah.
implement this. Yeah.
And is it also going to be helpful for our web servers, certificates, and that kind of stuff? So can you connect it to local devices as well, on-premise servers? If that's going to be the case, it's going to be very helpful. Disable some CAs and desk connectors. Strange stuff, but always can break in our situations.
I think in the first wave of the release, it will mainly be focused on, not mainly, only be focused on device certificates used for, network access, 802.x. It could be for VPN scenarios. It could be for Wi-Fi scenarios.
So they acquire Scapman for that.
Yeah, I think I know they build this on their own services.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but Scapman has the same functionality.
Yes.
That's nowadays it's third party.
Yeah.
We don't need that anymore if Microsoft is delivering Cloud PKI to us.
Yes.
And in the next phase, there's going to be more connections with it for web servers and that kind of stuff. So Scapman is there still leading in, but it's a big step forward to have it in one case, in one situation.
Yeah.
Very good. Helpful.
Okay. We have one last question, Peter, for Ronnie, and that's about the community, because you're also running Workplace Ninjas in Denmark.
Yes, together with a great team. So yes, we are. Is that the question?
No.
Okay.
Just we are looking forward when you go on premises in person
Yeah.
because you're online only currently.
Yeah.
Is that still because of COVID?
Well,
because you
well,
started then.
The thing is that actually the user group that we also I'm not sure we have a 10-year anniversary, but we're getting close. And the user group that we currently are using as the Workplace Ninja was actually born in the cloud. That was a different user group than the other one that we had that were mainly focusing on SCCM.
Yeah, there was a SCUG also,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And
It
then
was a current user group that is rebranded and now part of the Workplace Ninjas.
Yeah, and when we created that user group 10 years ago, we were mainly focusing on cloud only technologies, and at that time it wasn't as big as it is today.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, and we didn't have a lot of attendees. We were really lucky if we had like 15 or something like that showing up, and it was also focused a lot on Office 365.
Yeah.
So we were building this, and then all of a sudden we started to do more and more of these online events, and of course when COVID hit in, we had the platform and everything was growing dramatically, and we were growing from having maybe 25 people attending at each event, and until now where we have this every month, and we are never below 120 attendees, and we try to do everything, if possible, in Danish. And of course,
I tried that last week.
Yeah. Of course, when we have you guys speaking, we do it in English, of course. But I think one of the success factors that we have with doing that is actually it's easier for people to express them, to open up the communication.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
they not everybody is super excited about going off mute in an online meeting with hundreds of people speaking English. So if we can do that in Danish, we feel that more people are engaging.
And how is that? Because in the Nordics, languages are really familiar to each other, like Swedish, Norwegian, and so on. Are there also participants from the other countries?
Yes.
Yeah, because I was that's years ago. I was in a training in Norway, and Kare was there as a trainer, Kare Rude Andersen.
Yeah.
And he talks Danish, Swedish to people, and it's so familiar to each other, all the languages. So,
but it's really weird because sometimes in the beginning of the morning when we have the introduction, maybe the speakers come off mute and we have a chit chat before we start, and of course we do that in English because they are people from other countries. And then we start doing the introduction. And then without thinking about it, we just continue in English. And then half through the presentation, we say, oh, by the way, we were so supposed to do this in Danish. So then we will switch back or something. But the cool thing is actually, in Microsoft Teams now have this option,
I tried it, but
to do live captioning,
captioning
in different languages. So we had Sandy, she's a Chinese girl living in Finland now.
Yeah.
She attended one of our sessions. And she actually just, turned on live captioning in her preferred language. It is kind of weird with some of the expressions and the terms that we use in the technology. But if you know what it is, you know what it is, and then you can actually, still understand it. So, yeah.
You can follow
along the conversation.
The conversation.
Yeah.
But we are really looking forward to be in person in Denmark.
We will do an in-person event. Cool. I guarantee it. It will not be this summer, but hopefully in the fall.
Yeah.
Cool.
Now let's see if we can make that happen. Thanks for joining here in the Netherlands. You have a few days off, I understand.
Yeah. Once it's always happy when you do user group on a Friday. So I brought my wife, and we will be traveling around the area until Sunday when we fly back. So and the weather is awesome. So.
Yeah, the weather is great.
Yeah.
So enjoy your stay in the Netherlands, and
thank you.
Let's see each other probably at the summit where we do a recording in a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.